This conference will now be recorded.
Right. So this is today is the first session. We are going to start this Power BI. So before I'm getting into Power BI, let me give you an introduction about data visualization first, because all the Power BI, whatever the Tableau, whatever are we learning, everything is comes under data visualization part. So this data visualization plays a vital and important role in any of the decision making, what is that we are taking for any of the domain. So this is nothing to do with technology. This is nothing to do with domain. So whichever the domain RV belongs to, either we are working on sales related stuff, marketing, or else is this something relating to industrial related stuff, or else something relating to healthcare or insurance related stuff. We want to have some visualization of requirements, which is essentially important, because unless until if you don't visualize the information, decision making will be difficult. So data visualization plays especially an important role in any of the development. So it could be an application development, at the same time it could be a product development, or it could be in research development, what team usually do, or it could be anything relating to market related report generations. So data visualization is not something confined only for application because most of the people have some conception over that data visualization required only for marketing, preparing some market reports or research reports, all that. To an extent possible, which is right, but not to the full extent, because that is, yes, required, especially for market research reports and all that, data visualization is needed. So, which is acceptable fact, which is really true even. But that's not only the one which is required. So, apart from that, what else is required for us? We must able in a position to know this data visualization report tools and all everything when we are working on business analysis side, because even business analyst team people will also be using these tools to visualize the data. What a business analyst do, because I'm explaining two different things. One is research related, market report related. This data visualization is required. Do remember, I'm not specifying any power data or tableau. Okay, I'm talking about data visualization. I hope you guys have understood this. So what kind of tool are they using, how different those tools, that I'll be discussing it later, okay, in some time. Now, so what kind of data do they require to visualize and all everything in market research reporting and all, it is needed. But now, in what way it is relating for business analyst is what you need to know. So, first of all, we should know what BA do, right? So, what do business analysts do? Business analysts are the people who act as an intermediary between business and technical communities. Means they gather requirements from the customer, they try to understand their business problem, and whatever the necessary solutions they require will be provided by these people. This is what usually any business analyst team members do. In this process, being a business analyst team, try to capture some requirements from the customer, because even to capture requirements and all, of course nowadays there are a lot of open source tools are available, capture the data, structurize the data for that. At the same time, not only for data capturing and all, at the same time, even to prepare some documentation, there will be a lot of tools are available nowadays. Because especially if you are working on agile and all, we write user stories by using Jira, all that. Whereas when we follow traditional way of approach, instead of writing user stories, we prepare documentations like business requirements, all that. Now, why are we preparing these requirements documents, all that? These requirements documents and all everything are useful for us to explain the requirements. Whatever the requirements do we have, to explain the requirements, this documentation is being used for. Now, to whom are we preparing this? This you are preparing for the benefit of a technical team to develop a technical solution on that. For that reason, we are doing this. I hope you understood. Now, when you are planning this to provide a technical solution for the development perspective, it's not only about the requirements, it's not only about the features, functional, non-functional requirements, all that. Along with this, essentially needed is you must have an idea about some sort of research reports which is to be made. For example, you would like to know you're developing an application in reference to the customer satisfaction, or you're developing some CRM related application. When you are developing a CRM related application, one should be having a clear understanding about how CRM process and functionality works. The CRM process and functionality may have different phases. At the same time, internally they may be required to know about the satisfaction of the customer on a particular thing, or else they wants to know about the perception, demands, expectations, all these sort of things. So how do we know all these? This is all we will be knowing based upon the visualization purpose. What is that we do? You could ask me one thing then. So then Raj, as far as that itself is concerned, then we have Excel sheets, right? So we have Excel where in that if you provide the data, you get all the graphs, reports, everything, right? So then why do we go for a specific tool, something like Tableau, Power BI, all that, right? So this could be one of the question, the basic question which comes to mind for everyone. To an extent possible, whatever the thought process is right, but not to the full extent, because Excel is a kind of application. It's a single tier architecture based application, means it's a standalone application. So what is standalone application is, what is meant by standalone? Standalone application means usually applications have three different layers. Usually any application you see, we have three different layers. The first layer, let me write down here. So application has three different layers. Application has three different layers. The first layer we call it as presentation layer. First layer we call it as presentation layer. Second layer will be called as application or business layer. Third layer will be called as data layer. Okay, these are the three different layers you can see in any of the application. You can take any application, any basic or any application you take, there will be three different layers. One is presentation layer, second is application or business logic layer. Business layer I have written, it is called as business logic layer. Business logic layer. The third one we call it as data layer. Three different layers. Application layer means you are developing an application where this presentation is required, means whatever that you can see on the screen, right? So because for example, if you are a user, whatever that you can see on the screen, on the front face, whatever you can see, that's called presentation layer, right? So where you can see the presentation, whatever is working on and all everything, so that you can see it on the screen. That's what we call it as presentation layer stands for. Second, business or logic layer, application or business or logic layer we call it as. Business or logic layer means whatever the logic you write. For example, being a customer, you have given 1 plus 3, and whenever you are pressing on enter button, you get a result as 4. How you got this? Being a customer, is that you have done any editing, addition and all everything manually? Is that anything done by you? Being a user? No. Why? Because there is a logic which is written by the developer in a form of writing a coding for a program. A program has been written by a developer for addition of two numbers. It is not 1 plus 3. Addition of two numbers. It could be 1 plus 3 or it could be 500 plus 300. Developer has written a logic for addition of two numbers. So that's the reason why whenever you have given 1 plus 3, you'll get a number as 4. So this is where logic applies. This is where logic applies. So this logic will be written under application or business layer. Understood everyone, right? So application or business layer means this is where you don't see you don't see this layer, but you see the result of it. For example, you went to the ATM system. For example, right? You want to withdraw money. What is that you do? You insert the card. You give your user ID, your PIN number. Whenever you give in your PIN number, it will ask you what kind of services you want to use. For example, some X is a person has used an option called withdraw money, right? So withdraw money, and he has entered some amount of money. There are two conditions applies here. Whenever he or she has entered some amount, sometimes money will come. When money will come, when whatever the amount they were mentioned on the screen, if it is lesser than the one which is there in the account balance, he'll get a money, right? So if it is more than that which is there in the account, what will happen? Automatically, you have insufficient balance, right? So this is what generally the message they get. So how they have got that? So there is a logic which was written by the developer. When someone wants to withdraw money, there is a logic will be written. What was that logic? If amount is lesser than the one which is there in the account balance, the person who is using this ATM system has to get the money, right, through an ATM this thing mission, that withdrawal site, right? So ATM mission, or else, because everywhere there are two conditions. If and else means if money was there, else means, for example, if the money is greater than which is there in the account, what will happen? Automatically, there will be a rejection. Agree, there will be a rejection. So this is where we call it as business or logic layer, right? So where in this business or logic layer, what will happen? Whatever the logics are we going to implement, those logics and all everything has to be taken care of. This is what generally business or logic layer stands for. So logics will be implemented here. This is what we call it as business logic layer. So developers will write code, all that stuff. Now the third one we call it as data layer. So the data layer means where whatever the information are you giving will be stored somewhere, some XYZ place. That's what we call it as data, right? That's what we call it as data. So this is where we call it as data layer. From there, you will be accessing the information and you will be presenting it on the screen. Now, usually any application you see, there will be three layers: presentation, business or logic layer, third is data layer. All these three layers will be developed under a single platform. That's the reason why Excel is called as single tier architecture, because you are giving input there, you will be getting output there itself, and data will be stored there itself. Means these three layers are developing on a single platform. That's what we call it as Excel. So Excel has a basic understanding where you can generate reports. Because why am I saying all this? Because you must be knowing about the difference between the kind of tools what you are using in data visualization when you are comparing this with Excel, because Excel is a basic application. There you can give input there itself, data will be stored in the same platform, and whatever the reports you see, everything will be seen on the screen directly, right? That's how usually Excel works, right? So Excel is a basic thing which works like that. But whereas when you go for visualization tools, because here is a question, why are we discussing all this? Because Raj, why are we using Excel, right? So why are we using these tools? Why don't we use Excel, right? So this is the question. The reason is that whereas there, what will happen? All the three layers, whatever the data are we maintaining, everything will be maintained on the single layer. This is where generally Excel is being used. But whereas when you go for data visualization tools, it could be Tableau, it could be Power BI, whatever the tools are we using, it has an additional advantage where information can be accessed from any of the servers even. Right? So if you want to extract any information from an additional server or from the additional external servers outside, there is a possibility where you can import data from additional servers. That's the reason why here you can see if you want to add any of the data, right, to your reports and all that. So there are different options where you can extract the information from Excel, or else you can extract information from other servers and databases. Something like usually we do SQL server, all that, right? So there are a lot of servers like Oracle, SQL Server, Sybase, right? So there are a lot of databases will be there. You know that. So SQL is one of it, right? So from the database and all, everything can be extracted. Even at the same time, we can extract information from blank tables or some data sheets, right? So this sort of understanding and this sort of advantage you see when you are using different tools, something like Tableau, Power BI, all that. Excuse me. But you don't have this facility when you are going for Excel sheet. So why are we going for Excel and why are we going for Excel and why are we not using so why are we going for data visualization tools and why are we not going for Excel? Because of this reason. That's one of the reason I'm saying. First point. And second point, if you see Excel, Excel has a limited data visualization part. Means you can prepare some pie charts, bar graphs, right? So simple things can be used. But this is not only the thing. For example, somebody wants to see the mapping part, right? So some data mapping or heat mapping, different things if they want to use it, right? For different reasons. Because as I told you, data visualization is not confined only for bar charts or pie charts, right? So bar charts and pie charts explain you only a basic thing, but it will not explain you the remaining additional advanced level features, all that stuff. So for that, what is required? You require an additional data visualization filters where you can visualize the data. So, like for example, I'll show you some screenshots wherein you guys will have an understanding over that. I'll show you in presentation so that you will be understood that better. Yeah, this I have downloaded for your understanding. Right. So this is all for right. So for example, industrial solution kind of stuff. Right. So where they want to see right? So they want to see the pipe vibrations, or else they wants to see the electricity shutdowns, right? So at the same thing, if they want to see, this is all something relating to electricity related stuff, right? So this chart they want to see, right? So this kind of complex diagrams are not possible when you're going for Excel. Because why am I comparing with Excel? Basically, the reason is Excel is an application which is widely used since ages by us. Irrespective of the profile we belongs to, we are using Excel for a very long time for different reasons. Of course, even till today, most of the people were depending on Excel. Of course, it is serving their needs even effectively. I accept that fact. But advanced level, if you want to see the data visualization and all, so Excel doesn't have a provision to do that because different industry related different sector related people wants to use the applications. If they want to use the application, there must be having a possibility where they want to use this application for the next level. So one of the example is this, right? So electricity related stuff. Next, for example, if you'd like to know about the time period relating to the product, right? So some product related data you want to see, right? So for that you can see these kind of graphs, all that stuff. Next, for example, if you want to see this reports, like for example, if you want to see about the impressions of the clicks of the application, or else if you would like to know about the customers, where they belongs to, right? So what kind of customer. So an advanced level, it depends on the geographical location where they belong, right? So a lot of reports and lot of presentations might be required to take some decisions scientifically in any of the business. You can take any of the business. If the business wants to improve, they need to have a business planning for sure. So that business planning should have a business strategy. That business strategy has to be implemented successfully to get the business and to elevate it themselves into the next level. So for that, what is required? No rough figures are entertained. No rough figures are allowed. Rather than rough figures, what is allowed? There should be a concrete information which is essentially important, which is essentially needed. So this is where generally this graphs and all everything are we using when you are working on tools like Tableau, Power BI, all that. Now here is the next question. You could ask me one thing, Raj. Why are we using more Power BI than any other tools? Right. So is there what was the difference? The major difference is that Power BI is the tool which is powered by Microsoft Corporation. You know that, right? So Microsoft Corporation is one of the leader in providing operating systems, all that, right? So they were there for a very long time, and their customer presence is more. At the same time, even in terms of the licenses and all everything were very nominal because people are used to that for a very long time. That's the reason why using this Power BI as it is a Microsoft tool which are we using for a very long time. Using this Power BI tool is one of the advantage which you can see when you are comparing with other people. This is where generally you can see more advantage when you are comparing with other ones. So this is where usually this Power BI we are using because of this. One of the reason is this. Right? One reason is that because it's powered by Microsoft Corporation, where we got benefited using Microsoft tools like operating system right from the beginning of operating system. We were using since ages. At the same time, not only operating system, we have an advantage where we have used what we call we have used MS Project, right? So MS Project is a tool which is used to prepare some Gantt charts, spread charts, and project management. At the same time, we have a data visualization for preparing UMLs, business flows, and all that. So there is a tool called MS Visio, Microsoft Visio. So there are a lot of tools that are available. So these tools we are used to for a very long time. So that's the reason why Power BI is more popular on that context. This is point number one. Point number two, Power BI is not only for that. Power BI is having an option where you have multiple facet facility where you can generate reports or where you can open reports, where you have an extension of reports. If you want to import or export any kind of reports from any additional sources, that is something very easy. It is not so complex because if there is any other tool we are using, for example, right? So maybe some other tools right, might be. So this extraction as well as integrating with other tools and extracting the data, importing or exporting data might be difficult on that context. But whereas if you see Power BI and all that, so we don't have the facility, we don't have that problem. Where this import and as well as export and import kind of data will be more easier, especially when we are going for Power BI. So that is one more advantage where you can see, especially in reference to the Power BI part. At the same time, one more thing is that if you want to reverse the data, right? So there is an option where if you want to reverse the data and all that. So of course I have not connected it, but I'm just showing you, right? So the reversing of data. So wherein we have to sign in, and just because for an understanding, I'm explaining this to you. wherein if someone wants to reverse the data and all that, so wherein you have to connect here and you can reverse the data based upon the data what is that we are using. So these are the advantages why we are going for Power BI, especially why prominence of Power BI has increased a lot nowadays due to this reason. Is it clear? Maybe and Santosh,
Yes, sir.
is it right? So this is the reason why. So this is an introductory part for Power BI, right? So whatever I have explained you so far, this is an introduction part of Power BI. Please don't mind because today I'm not taking more time as I had a little bit of cough and cold, right? So I'm suffering with. So I'm not taking more time tomorrow onwards because that too this is an introduction. I am expecting few more to join. So this is the festival time. I think there will be some people. There is an absence. So I'm taking more time tomorrow, right? So I'm not taking more time today. Please excuse all this, right? So tomorrow onwards, more time will be taken. Tomorrow I'll take a little bit more time, and from next week onwards, this will be continued systematically. Is it clear, Mehdi and
Yes, sir.
Santosh?
Yes.
Right? So please don't mind. Today I'm closing session. Tomorrow onwards, as usual. Tomorrow we have session. Okay. Please do remember on the same
Okay.
time.
Same time.
Same
Okay,
time.
sir.
Please do. Same time means 8 a.m. Indian Standard Time. Do remember that. Right?
Yeah.
8 a.m. Indian Standard Time is the time. Right, Mehdi? Right, Santosh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are
And
you there?
sir, you are going to upload these too, right? The video.
Sorry? I,
Are you going to upload the
link
video?
will be yes. Link will be shared to you. I'll share a link to you in Google. Sorry, to your email ID. Please post your email ID in the chat in the WhatsApp, right? Because you have my
Okay.
WhatsApp number, right? Please
Yes.
post your email ID there. So I'll send a link to that. I'll send a link to that. Okay.
Okay.
So you can whenever you my request for you guys is that whenever you have visited, whenever you have received it, please download that video and keep it repository. Right? Keep it with you.
Okay.
Because if you don't download automatically for few days, it will get expired. Again, I have to download the complete video and I have to set, which takes a lot of time sometimes due to the work
Okay.
schedules, all that. So I'll be sending all the class videos will be sent to you. Please download and keep it with you. Right.
Okay. Okay.
See you then.
Thank you,
Bye.
sir.